Stop scrolling and please help me spread the word, because if I've landed on your For You page, you're most likely either a black woman or someone who cares about black women, and the simple phrase I'm about to share could help save a black woman's life. Doctors are to black women what police officers are to black men. That may seem controversial, but I believe it to be true, and I speak from personal experience. If you've seen this TikTok, you know that a 2016 study showed that 50% of medical students and residents thought that black people couldn't feel pain the same as white people. And we learned from this video that because of a 1999 study, to this day, there's a black correction factor for the creatinine levels in black people's kidneys, meaning we're less likely to receive a kidney transplant if needed. So if you go to a doctor, feel you aren't getting proper treatment, or they refuse the treatment you've requested, say to them the following: I will need you to document on record that you are refusing the treatment I've requested and the reason you are refusing to do so.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but black women ain't gonna save you. At least not this one. I'd much rather be getting a facial or decorating. And due to personal reasons, I've just decided I'm just gonna keep getting.
Hey girl, so I saw that one of you left a comment on one of my posts asking for some relationship advice. And the question was, who should pay for a first date? Should it be the man? Should it be the woman? In my perspective, it should always be the man that pays on the first date. Why? Because he sets the tone for the relationship. He says that, look, I'm the one that's going to be in charge. I'm the boss of this relationship, and I'm going to take care of you. However, a woman should always be prepared to pay. But let me tell you this. If you pay on the first date, that should be the last date.
As women, we try to change niggas and we try to get niggas to be the perfect nigga for us, when in reality, we're just not compatible. And so if a nigga can't get right, he getting left. And that's as simple as I can put it. And I'm not gonna switch you. You crazy as fuck if you think I'm finna trip about you not getting right. Do you see me, nigga?
Stop. If you are seeing this video, sis, you are a badass bitch. But maybe you just don't know it yet, or maybe you just simply forgot. So I'm here to remind you, sis, this is the Real Baddie series. Baby, you want to know the only difference between you and the girls you look up to? The IG baddies or the YouTubers or the small business owners? Is that, baby, they make the time to do that shit. You keep waiting around for some magical time, something magical to happen. Baby, make it enough of what the fuck you got right now. Baby, you have to make the time to be the baddest bitch that you want to be. If you don't make the time, you'll never fucking have it. I don't know who told you hoes there was a such thing as a right time. There's not. And baby, take yourself serious. That's probably why you just waiting around, because bitch, you're not taking it serious. You can be all things. Don't limit yourself. Bitch, you can go to school, be a YouTuber, TikTok. You can do all the things, but make the time to do them. Hurry the fuck up.
Anybody who comes to me that does not have any money and tells me he likes me, I will slap that person. Or be.
Can't make people do right by you, but you can decide how often you let them do you wrong, and you keep letting them do you wrong. You feel horrible. You are never secure, you're never happy, and you continue to choose it because you're too afraid to take that move. And let me tell you something. If you're afraid you just can't get another dude, because I know the market's tight, I get that part. But if you're afraid you'll never get another dude, isn't it better to be happy and whole and feel good about yourself by yourself than it is to feel low and degraded and unloved with another dude? You do not need a man to define you. A man should be an option, not a definition. You with me?
Good morning. I just wanted to say that
one thing I've learned out of being kicked out of friend groups more than once is to not be in friend groups. And I know it sounds weird because I know everyone wants that friend group where we're all doing things together, but a lot of times it doesn't work out like you think it will. Because the minute someone gets into an argument, your friends are definitely taking sides. And you may not be the one that they side with. Or you're wondering why they're hanging out more with each other and not with you. They like each other more than they like you. I don't know why it's like this, and I know it doesn't happen to everyone, but it's a strong possibility that it can. So after learning my lesson, I keep my friendships individual. All of my friends are different anyway, and we all like to do different things together, so it just makes sense for me. Then when a big event arises, like a birthday dinner for instance, then they all can come together. This is a dynamic that has worked really well for me, and I'm able to keep all of my friends.
If you're a virgin and you've decided to keep your virginity, that's okay.
Whether it's religious or not.
And that thing of like, oh, you're still a virgin at like 27? That's none of your business. It's not yours to give or take.
And stop shaming people!
You have decided to keep it.
When I was in my 20s, one of my mentors, who happens to be a billionaire, gave me the best career advice that I've ever gotten in my life. He said, your 20s are for learning, so don't worry about chasing money. Worry about learning and making sure that you're figuring out what it is that you want to do. Nobody knows what they want to do in their 20s, so don't feel pressure. Your 30s are for laying the foundation, making sure that you are getting the skill sets, the competencies, and the network to be able to build the life that you want to live. And then your 40s are about making money. And if you did your 20s right and your 30s right, the fruits of your labor will start to show up in your 40s. So make sure that you are doing the things that are necessary in your 20s and your 30s to make sure that you can secure the bag when you get to your 40s.
And I can leave the party without ever letting you know. Without ever letting you know.
Do not blame yourself for feeling like you are in love. Do not blame yourself for not knowing whether or not they're the one. Do not blame yourself as if it was you who got to choose, because with the journey of love, there's nothing to lose. Matter of fact, there's something to gain. An experience, a lesson, or a new last name, an enemy, a best friend, or a stranger who's well known. Someone you have to cut off, or someone you get to call your own. Love has two answers, and you'll always end up with one. So don't give up on an experience that hasn't yet begun. If you find it in your heart that there's someone you care about, don't complicate the situation, or you'll never find out.
Why would I listen to you? It's about to make me mad right here.
If they are not moving you to a better place physically, financially, or emotionally, thou shalt move them out of thy life. Galatians 3 verse 10.
Black women, let me tell you about some of the best advice that I ever received that I forgot about until this very moment because I've been practicing it for so long. So once in the wee hours of some YouTube binge I was on, I heard somebody say that we don't just make ourselves smaller mentally, but physically and literally, Black women move out of the way and make themselves smaller. And the woman went on to talk about how we move out of the way in stores. We will go out of our way to navigate our buggy so that it is not in someone else's way. I stopped doing it. I completely stopped doing it. I stopped moving myself out of the way. Not in a rude way. If I'm in the way, I'm going to move, obviously. But I'm not going to change my path for somebody else.
The same people who hate on you will eventually mimic you because they studied you so hard looking for flaws they got inspired without even knowing it. That's what happens when your light is so bright it shines even on the darkest spirits. Shine, baby, shine.
Oh, that'll do it. You don't have to worry about me. You do not have.
Pay no attention to my ill ponytail. But I said this on my Instagram a while back, and people say I was being dramatic when I say when men tell me they're going to call me back and I don't hear from them, they're done with me. It's the principle of the matter. People are like, what if he gets busy? If he got busy, he would text me that and tell me that. Or he would call and apologize and say, I got super busy and lost track of time. But whenever a man says, I'm going to call you at 6, I'm going to call you at 8, or I'm going to call you later on tonight, and they don't do it, it shows that you can't keep your word when it comes to something so small. I can't trust you. Bye.
Ladies, you got to stop taking when a man doesn't commit to you personal. Or even if he gets inside of a relationship with you and he cheats. And let me explain why. Number one, what that man does is not a reflection of you, sis. That's his own shit. He dealing with some demons that you can't even exorcise. See, here's the thing. Sometimes men cannot see your value. And then other times they see your value. They just don't want to invest in it. He could believe you are worth silver and gold and still be unable to afford you. Sometimes people are piss poor morally, sis. Some men are in the browsing around phase. They aren't looking to buy. And then some men commit to you and then have buyer's remorse. And I believe that the only reason why a man could have buyer's remorse is because he didn't have pure intentions for you to begin with. It doesn't mean that you're less valuable. You could be the whole package sent to the wrong address.
I bet you're making one of these 3 common skincare mistakes. Mistake number 1, applying your skincare products too close to bedtime. You definitely don't want your skincare products ending up on your pillow instead of in your skin. Give it some time to absorb before you go to bed. I recommend doing 1 to 2 hours before you go to sleep. Mistake number 2, not applying enough sunscreen. Let your fingers guide you. Take the 6 sections of your fingers and divide your face into 6s. That way you know you're putting enough sunscreen in each each area. And mistake number 3, not cleansing long enough. Sing your favorite song up into the hook, and that way you know that you've cleansed long enough.
Have you ever lost a friendship that you thought would last?
Yeah, like 3 years ago, I lost someone I would consider my best friend. I was going through something very personal at the time, and you know, as a best friend, I just wanted a bit more support, and I realized it wasn't really there the way I would have supported her, and you know, it was just like a harsh reality check. But she was entitled to act the way she is because everyone's their own person, and I feel like that's what I learned from that. You know, nobody owes you anything. Like, you have to be your own person, and you have to be okay with being by yourself. And I learned that it's okay to lose friends. Like, you grow, so you're gonna outgrow some friends, and you're gonna meet some new ones, so it's okay.
Waking up each morning and saying, I like me today. I got many things I can work on, but I like me today. Before you ever go out on Facebook or any other social media platform to check to see if anyone else like you, your job is to like you first, and every other like is bonus. That's stepping into the best version of you.
Okay, I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but here's the best dating advice I've ever gotten. If he likes you, you'll know. If he doesn't, you'll be confused.
So I used to do this red flag series. I'm about to start it back up. This is Red Flags in Men Dating Edition. If you are dating a man who has kids, that's no problem. But if he talks shit about his baby mama, bitch, run. Any man who talks bad and down on a woman who birthed his children to a bitch he just met, and sis, you are indeed a bitch he just met, he's still in love with that hoe. He just using you until she ready to take his scruffy ass back. Red flag. The first time he don't show up or he don't do something he say he gonna do, sis, run. Leave while you still have the chance. Because any man, especially in the beginning stages of pursuing a woman he's actually serious about, he gonna be on his shit. If he can't even show up, baby, don't get attached to that man. Red flag. Bitch, this should be a regular schmegular, but some of you hoes are stupid. Since if he don't have a fucking debit card, run. I don't give a fuck how much cash he pull out his motherfucking pocket. Run.
If you want to know what your self-worth is like, look at all the things you are tolerating in your life right now. This will show you what you think your value is. This will show you what your worth is. And this will show how you are undervaluing yourself. So my question to you today is, what are you tolerating? What upsets you, but you think you have to shut your mouth and take it? What are the words you are eating instead of saying? What is a foot that you're tapping instead of putting it down? What are the things that you dislike about your life right now that you have given up? Resolved to just be quiet about it, to just take it? What are the expectations that you've had yet have had to lower in order to make others around you feel comfortable?
Tell me something a job has taught you that you will never ever forget, no matter what.
So I took the biggest L by not doing this one important thing. If you want to secure a promotion at your job, literally do this. Literally document everything that is measurable. So that's awards, that's certificates, that's praises from others and nice comments. That's keeping documentation of everything that you have created for the company. Make sure to put it in a Excel sheet or a Word document of some sort. But definitely utilize this so whenever you do have one-on-ones with your manager and the time comes up whenever you do want to discuss for a promotion, you literally have this to back up everything that you have done. And this also helps you to take ownership of your role. So yeah, let me know if this is really helpful or useful, because I really wish I would have done this.
We are taught as women, you gotta find somebody. You gotta find somebody immediately. When you're in your 20s, when you're in your 30s, you gotta find. If you don't find somebody, you're an old maid. Nobody wants you. I can guarantee you, ladies, if you love yourself and you find out who you are, God is not going to let you down. He is going to give you whatever you want, whatever that fulfillment is.
Living lovely.
I wanna be with you. I wanna be with.
Girl, you better be disciplined about what you respond and react to, because not everybody deserves your time, energy.
Once you get the offer letter, it is time to negotiate. Here's what you say word for word. Grab a piece of paper and a pen. Once you get the offer, you send an email and you let them know, thank you so much for the offer. Super excited to get started here. Would love to hop on the phone and chat really quickly and ask some questions. So then they get on the phone, chit chat,
and you say, thank you, Sam. I'm really looking forward to joining the team and I appreciate your offer at $60K. Based on my research and people in similar positions to this one with similar skills and experience, they're actually at a higher range. I was really expecting between $75K and $85K. Based on the value I bring to the table, my experience and performance, is the salary up for discussion? And if they say, it's not, you can still come back and say, I understand where you're coming from. And I just want to share again, I'm really excited, but I really think I'm a great fit for this position and would love to be at the 75 to 85.
This is how you're going to rebrand yourself as hot and mysterious. I keep seeing people make videos about this joking, but I'm going to show you how to actually do it. And you're probably thinking, Kelsey, what are your qualifications to teach me this? Well, number one, I'm hot, and number two, I moved around a lot. And if you're saying to yourself, well, I'm not hot, being hot is a state of mind. If you believe you're hot, other people will catch on. Tip number one is be a good listener. And this can be hard for some people who are really talkative. If you unintentionally talk about yourself more, try to ask more questions. Always leave a conversation knowing more about the other person than they do about you. Tip number two is always leave the party early. I want you to tell yourself this before you leave the house. Hot and mysterious girls leave the function early. Never be the last one to leave, and don't help guys clean up. Don't do that. So limit your alcohol. Drinking too much can make people overshare when they didn't intend to. And there's just nothing mysterious about somebody getting super wasted. Okay, I'm running out of time. Part 2.
These men are not emotionally unintelligent. If they were, they would not be able to manipulate your emotions like they do. See, to manipulate, you have to deeply understand. So they understand your emotions. They just don't care. They want what they want. And they don't care about looking a certain way. If you want to think that they're emotionally unintelligent so that they can manipulate freely and get away with it, they'll let you think that. They'll go along with that. Men act incapable every day. Now, we know that I'm not for bashing men at all. I do not say this to bash men. I say this to protect you. You need to raise your level of emotional intelligence. You also need to understand the concept of duality and really accept it. If you look at the yin and yang signs, it's always a little bit of good in the bad, and it's always a little bit of bad in the good. You need to be able to see things clearly. Is this a mostly good person with a little bit of bad, or is this a mostly bad person with a little bit of good? See things for as they are and not as you want them to be. Once you accept reality and accept the idea of duality, you won't be so easily manipulated. You'll see right through it.
So I'm just driving in the car, and I thought, you know what? Let me give the gals some advice. Okay, dating a new man. If you want him to come at you correctly, if you want him to buy you things or whatever it is that you want from this man, never ever tell this man anything bad that your ex did. What you do is how you flip the script when he starts asking about your exes. I want you to say, you know what? My ex, he provided for me. He was a stand-up gentleman. He took me to places that I only dreamed of. Men are very competitive, so once he knows that you wouldn't settle for some bullshit, he's gonna come correct. I do it all the time, and it works. My ex gave me this advice when I was like 22, and it has worked on every man. Men are competitive. They want to outdo the last man. So don't confide in him and tell him all this sad drama. Nobody wants to hear that. Tell him how you have just been swept off your feet.
I forgot how great it feels to be me.
What is dark feminine energy? Dark feminine energy is that shadow self. The shadow self where you suppress a lot of emotions, feelings, shame, anger, and guilt due to societal conditioning. Okay, so we've been conditioned from little girls to be a certain way, act a certain way, and express our emotions a certain way. When you activate the dark femininity, you let all that go. You're not suppressing anything any longer. And by embracing your true shadow self, you are embracing all of femininity, light and dark, and you are now have the ability to articulate your needs, desires. Okay, follow for part 2.
Beautiful people don't compete with beautiful people, they form alliances. Why would you compete when you could co-dominate? Exhibit A, Destiny's Child. Exhibit B, Me and My Friends.